Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to you fellow Wakim, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth. Okay. Waking up the rest of the elect so Yahweh Shai could come speedily and redeem us out of this hellhole so-called America. Okay. Quick lesson. I was just meditating on how the Lord Yahweh Shai feels about the heathens. Okay. And I was meditating on that topic because, hey man, Hassad and Hakah, Heckle and Jekyll, man, like they have to be sold out, man. They have to be, because how are you going to be preaching salvation is for the heathens too? They're going to get they're going to receive salvation too. They're going to get the immortal bodies too. No, man. It's not going to happen. All right, they're like the scriptures talk about, those dogs returning back to their vomit, and that's what they're doing, man. All right. Spiritually though, I don't know, because like, hey man, because they're regressing. All right, what is it? Degressing, regressing. Well, they're going backwards, man. They're apostates. All right, going back or going, how do you say it? Verging away from the original doctrine, man, of only the Israelites can be saved. All right, and that's what they used to preach months ago, but now not no more. And this topic is getting fairly old, but these two knuckleheads are still going at it, man. They might as well stop calling themselves an Israelite group. Stop calling themselves Israelites and call themselves Christians. All right? Because that's exactly what the Christians teach and believe. All right? That everybody could be saved. Now that the Lord opened up salvation for everybody. No, man. All right, that's not what the New Testament is talking about concerning going to all the nations. No, there's no difference between Jew nor Greek. All right, go to the Gentiles. All right, John 3:16. All right, the whole world. The Lord gave His only begotten Son for the whole world. All right, which, hey, these people don't understand what these scriptures. All right, who these scriptures were written to, when they were written, in the context, when they were written, man, all right, but I was meditating on that, man, because, like, come on, man, the heathens are going to be saved. No, man. The heathens will be in the kingdom with us, all right? That doesn't mean they're going to be saved, all right? Because these people don't understand what salvation is, man. All right, these Christians, these people outside of this truth, they don't understand reincarnation. All right, they don't understand that the kingdom is going to be on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. All right. They don't understand. They can't accept slavery. All right. They don't understand the new covenant, that we're not in the new covenant yet, but we will be in the kingdom. They don't even know what the new covenant is about. All right. They don't understand what the scriptures are talking about when it says the Lord's going to put His commandments in our inward parts. All right. They don't understand what that means, man. All right. Which it means, we're not going to be sinning at all. Okay. And what's the result of somebody not sinning at all. Being an immortal person, man. Being like Yahweh Shai. Like the scriptures say, we don't know how he's going to look like when he returns, but we know that when he does return, we're going to be like him, because he's going to change us in a twinkling of an eye. All right? How is the Lord going to change us? By putting us in those immortal, upgraded bodies, man. He's going to, like the scriptures say, mortal shall put on immortality. All right? And corruption must put on incorruption. What is that talking about, man? That's relating to the new covenant. All right? That's talking about the Lord changing us from these mortal, third-dimensional bodies where we sin, all right, time to time. We're not perfect, even if we try, all right? We sin here and there. We have to go use a restroom. We only live a certain, length of period of time, okay? We have certain desires and whatnot, We have to sleep. We have to eat, We get old. We get sick. We're going to be putting off. The Lord's going to take the shed off that immortal body, man. That mortal body, and he's going to put on us immortality. And eventually, in the kingdom of heaven, all of the Israelites shall receive that immortal body. Okay? But not the heathens. All right? Okay? Let me get that. Because these people don't understand what salvation is. It's not being saved from going to hell, burning forever. That's not salvation, man. Because we all know hell isn't, what these Christians say hell is. It's actually not. It's not. Hell is a condition played out on earth. Hell is either, also talking about the grave, dying, or just underground in general, okay? And, a condition that you're in, hell, like when Jonah was swallowed by, that whale, that big old fish. He said, he was praying to the Lord saying, hey, I'm in the belly of hell. I'm in hell right now. Was he literally in hell? No, he was in a condition likened unto hell, he wished he was dead, but he was alive, and the lake of fire that the Bible talks about, all right, it's talking about the destruction of America. And when the scriptures talk about Gehenna, all right, what is Gehenna? It was a big old, garbage dump. They burnt everything, man, all right? And that was parabolic for what the Lord is going to do to America. He's going to gather all the wicked people up, which he's doing right now, all right, gathering up all the wicked Israelites from all the corners of the earth, and these heathens. America's a big melting pot. All types of people live in America, and he's going to burn it up just like a trash dump, You gather up all types of trash and you burn it up, Like the scriptures say, the Lord's going to leave you here and melt you, all right? All right. The Lord explains all the tin, all the unwanted metals, all right, dross and whatnot. He's going to gather it all up and melt you here, okay? Talking about the wicked of our people and the heathens, man, all right? So this is Luke 1:71. I didn't want to start with this precept, but, the Spirit's taking me here. It says that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Is this talking about spirits and demons? No, this is talking about our enemies and all of them that hate us, man. Who hates the Israelites, man? All right, so the Lord is making a separation between, his people, and those that hate us. All right, so the Lord is going to save us, all right, from other types of people, all right, and those people are the heathens, okay, because we need saving. These heathens don't need saving, man, all right. So that's one aspect of salvation, all right. It didn't say anything from saving us from going to burning in hell forever. No. Matthew 1:21. Okay. It says, and she shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins. Okay. That's talking about just that's just talking about the believers of the Lord. All right. That's who he's talking about when it says his people from their sins. No, it's talking about his people. Who are the Lord's people? Oh, the believers. Who are the ones that will believe in the Lord? Only Israelites. All right. Only Israelites will be able to believe in the Lord, man. All right. Because the scriptures say the Israelites have a zeal of the Most High. Okay. But not according to knowledge. The scriptures say none of the wicked shall understand. All right. And the Lord sees you heathens as wicked. All right. He doesn't care about you heathens, man. All right. He sees his people, the Israelites, as the apple of his eye. All right. So you heathens don't matter in the eyes of the Lord. You're just side characters. All right. Pawns in his own movie. Okay. Okay. So the Lord is going to save his people from their sins. All right. And who are the only people on the face of the earth, face of the planet, able to sin? Only an Israelite can sin. All right. Because what is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. What law? The law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. All right. This is Deuteronomy 6:1. It says, now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God, Yahweh, commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. All right. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. O hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as that ye may, as the Lord Yahweh of thy fathers hath promised thee in the land that followeth, or that floweth with milk and honey. So, in the third verse it says, hear therefore, O Yasharallah, O Israel. All right, so the Lord only gave his commandments and statutes, all right, his laws, okay, to who? Israel, because that's who the Lord is talking to in Deuteronomy, man, and throughout the whole Bible, all right. When the scriptures talk about, the Gentiles, all right, there's no more Jew nor Greek, okay. Those Greeks that he was talking about, all right, is the Israelites, all right. In what? In the Greek land, the Grecian land, in the Grecian customs, mindset, all right, culture, okay. That's why it says there's no more difference between Jew and Greek, because there's Israelites that knew that they were Jews, that knew that they were Israelites, knew that they were Jews, all right, that were not keeping the Grecian customs, that were not calling themselves Greeks, all right. But there was also Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites. They didn't know that they were Jews, and they were keeping the Grecian customs, living in the Grecian land, all right, and calling themselves Greeks, just as today, all right. Let's use my father as an example, all right, or just myself as an example, or just every American, man, Israelite American, okay. We used to call ourselves African American, Mexican American, American, something American, But what really are we? What do I call myself an Israelite, man? I don't call myself no damn American. I'm an Israelite. Yes, I was born and raised here. All right. But my nationality, all right, just because you're born and raised somewhere doesn't mean that's who you are, according to the Bible. Who are you according to the Bible? All right. Because the scriptures say, the land was not made for the people's sake. It's like, the people were not made for the land's sake, but the land was made for the people's sake. So it's about the people, you know. Israel, Yasharallah, all right, Israel is a people before it's a place, okay? Before the Lord put his people in the land of Israel in the ancient days and gave the land of Israel, all right, to his people, the Israelites, okay? The Israelites existed before that, all right? So it's not about the land where you were born, you know? What about my past life? In my past lives, where was I living then? You know? Exactly, man. And that's why these Christians, all right, they don't, they're lost, man. Because they don't understand, they can't wrap their heads or their minds around reincarnation and it being biblical, man. And that's how these heathens are going to end up in the kingdom, but not saved. Because receiving that new body, being immortal, being able to fly and whatnot, living forever, that's part of salvation. Being saved from your sins. Hey, the heathens came in sin, so what do they need saving from? All right? Us Israelites, we're in the hands of our enemies. All right? So we need saving from our enemies. These heathens, they're not being oppressed by the Israelites. They may be oppressed by themselves, by their own people, by other nations, all right? But they're not being ruled by the Israelites. Us blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're not enslaving nobody, We're not taxing people and putting interest on people, onto nobody, man, all right? We may be oppressing ourselves, considering like the cartels and whatnot, these gangs and whatnot, but that's due to sin, Like I said, these heathens, they can't sin because the commandments and the laws of the Lord were not given to them, all right? So they don't need saving in the first place, all right? Psalms 147:20 says, "He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord." All right, so the Lord he's not dealing with any other nations but the nation of Israel, all right? Isaiah 40:17, it says, "All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing." Who's this talking about, all nations? The nations outside of the nation of Israel, man. Because, hey, this ain't talking about including the Israelites too and the heathens. No, this is only talking about the heathens in this precept right here. All right. Because, hey, the Lord says, 2 Ezra 6:56, it says, "As for the other people which also come of Adam," all right. So this is not talking about every single person. It's talking about the other people. All right. Another type of people that come out of Adam. And do we not all come from Adam? We do. All right. And the Lord made a difference between, all right, his people, the sons of God, the Israelites, and the other nations, the serpent seed. All right, like the scriptures say, the serpent seed shall have enmity with her seed, talking about the Israelites. All right, because the woman seed is talking about, how the Lord sees and views his people as a comely and delicate woman, So that's what that's talking about, her seed having enmity with the serpent's seed, talking about the Edomite seed, the seed of Cain, all right? Cain, the Edomites, and Jacob, Israelites, are always going to be butting heads, fighting against each other, having problems, black on black, black on white, white on Latino, Native American, all right? This white man has been oppressing us and fucking with us for thousands of years, man, all right? Okay? That they lump us all up into one category. They call us all N-words, Oh, they all look the same to me, Let's get them. Let's round them up, As for the other people which also come of Adam. So this is talking about the heathens. All right. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Slakia. And the Lord, he sees these heathens, all right, as spittle, all right, an abundance of Slakia. And the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Okay. Let's say you're dragging, not dragging, but you're carrying a bucket full of water from point A to point B. All right. From your garage to your front porch to water some plants. Are you gonna worry about a few drops falling out? Oh, a few drops fell out of my bucket. Let's just cancel our plans of watering the garden today. A few drops fell. We can't do this no more. We got to do it tomorrow now. No, you ain't going to give a damn. You're going to continue to water your damn plants, man. All right? And, a few drops came out. That's nothing, man. You're going to continue to water your plants. You're not going to think about those few drops that spilled over a little bit, man. That's how Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai feels about these heathens. All right? Malachi, it's like at 3 and 6. It says, "For I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob," all right, the Israelites, "therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." All right, so the Lord feels the same way about the heathens, about them being as spittle, and you spit on the ground. That's how the Lord, thinks and feels about these heathens, even to this day. The Lord does not change. Is he not bound by his word? Like he said, he's a man of his word. All right. So he's not all of a sudden, all right, stop feeling that way towards the heathens. No. Oh, the Lord woke up one day, and you know what? I'm going to send my only begotten son so the heathens can be saved too. No. The Lord himself, that same son, only begotten son, said he's come to save his people from their sins, man. All right. I'm not come, but unto the house of Israel. All right. He prays not for the world. He prays not for them, All right. There was another precept I wanted to get. All right, Zechariah 2 and 8, it says, "For thus saith the host," "For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you, toucheth the apple of his eye." Okay? And that's talking about these other nations, these heathens. All right? That have touched us, put us into slavery. All right? The Lord sees his people, the Israelites, that have been touched, as the apple of the Lord's eye, man. The Lord sees us, all right, as the apple of his eye. And what does that mean? All right. Let's just Google it, man. I know what it means, but let's Google it. Apple of my eye. It says the phrase apple of my eye refers to someone or something deeply cherished. But if you're, okay, so yeah. So yeah, man, the Lord's people are deeply cherished in the eyes of the Lord. That's the Lord's focus, is the Israelites. All right. All right. Psalms 18:43 says, "Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made me the head of the heathen." All right. So in the times of David, King David, all right, the Lord put David over the heathens. It put the heathens under subjection under King David, man. All right. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. Okay. So, the Lord, he created these heathens to serve us. Like the scriptures say, the older shall serve the younger. All right, let's talk about Esau and Jacob. And Esau was older than Jacob. And that's concerning Esau. All right, the Lord created Esau to serve us, to be our slaves, to be our servants. All right, because he's a heathen. All right, he's profane, which means outside the temple. Okay, not chosen. I didn't want this precept. This is Isaiah 16:10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls." This is talking about the Gentiles, the heathens, the natural Gentiles, the non-Israelites. Okay, they're gonna be building up the kingdom of heaven, man. All right, building it up, straight up, man. It's being our slaves. Okay, being our workers, our servants. All right, it says, "And their kings shall minister unto thee, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I had mercy on thee." All right, and this mercy is not for the heathens. It's not going to be upon the heathens, okay? Because the heathens are receiving their mercy now, all right? Giving their time to rule over us, all right? Like the scriptures say, these heathens that have always been reputed as nothing have began to be rulers over us. That's talking about now, man. All right, these heathens are ruling over us, and they've always been reputed as what? As nothing in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. So these strangers, these heathens, these non-Israelites, they're going to be building up our walls, being our slaves. All right, and ministering unto us. All right. Does that sound like salvation to me and to you? Because it doesn't to me. I could end it off right there, but I got a few more, man. All right, Obadiah 1:18, it says, "In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau," all right, a heathen nation, all right, the bases of men, okay. It says, "In the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it." So, Echo and Jekyll, what is this precept talking about, man? All right, Esau is he's going to be put away, done away with forever, eventually in the kingdom of heaven. Does that sound like salvation? No, man. All right. Deuteronomy 7:6. This is the last precept. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God, Yahweh, hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And this scripture is strictly talking to only the Israelites. Yasharallah. All right. I don't even have to break that scripture down, man. All right. The Lord has created us to be a special people unto the Lord above all the people. All right. And the Lord, he has not changed. All right. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's the sons of Jacob.